Everyone. It's a nice bright sunny day here today, about 8 degrees Celsius, that's 46 Fahrenheit. And because it's such a nice day, I'm going to try and get on and do a bit more work on the boat. The rub rail has to be taken off. I also have to get ready for sanding down the top of the cabin and the hull of the boat itself. So I hope you stay with me as I get on with doing that bit of work. One of the main disadvantages of doing a job like this on your own is that you have to do everything inside and outside the boat. So I'm trying to take the rub rail off the outside, trying to unscrew the screws and bolts out of it. But there's nobody to hold on the inside. So I'm going to have to use a pair of vice grips on the inside, clamp them on the nut, then climb back out, then unscrew the bolt, then cut back in, change the next one. So it gets a bit repetitive and it drags out a bit longer if you had somebody helping you. But this is what it is, this is what I have to do. There's all kinds of fixings on here, bolts, screws of various kinds. Some of them are just ordinary metal screws, they've rusted away. Other ones are stainless steel, so I think this has just been repaired and re-screwed over a number of times at different spacing. So I'm pretty much going to have to fill all these and then just remark out my screw points, re-drill them and plug them again a few times. Of course, these ones are right here in the back of the boat. The most inaccessible spot you can get. Right, leave that there. I'm going to screw the other side. Okay, so now here on the other side, try and unscrew the screw. I can feel the vice grips on the other side, so that's it. Keep unscrewing that until it comes off. And that's the sound of the vice grips falling off the inside, which means it's come off the bolt. Right, inside and click on the next one. Success! There's the vice grip that's dropped off with the nut. So move it on and do the next one the same, which is a bit further in. That's that one tightened on. On the inside here, some of these are nuts and bolts, and some of them are just screws screwed in through the rail. So it's a bit of a mess, but they're all coming out, and I'm going to replace everything when I refit it. So it doesn't really matter now anyway. Here's another one off. Some of them are actually just breaking off, not even unscrewing, which isn't too bad. I think the screws will just pull. I'm going to try and loosen them maybe on the side with that vice grips as well. There you go, there, that's snapped off. Okay, so as I said, there's multiple kinds of fixings in this rail here. Plan A hasn't worked, Plan B hasn't worked, it's time for Plan C. A lot of the decal, some of it has plates on it, some of it, I don't know, little flimsy little bits of tin or something on it. I'm going to replace all them with decent bits of stainless steel backing plates, because there's not much point putting anything else on any of it. There's the chain plate. There's not even a backing plate in that. That's the chain plate. No backing plate. Here's the other chain plate, no backing plate. Same on this side. Now, why you put chain plates on and not put a backing plate of some description on them, I don't know. Okay, I got my safety gear on. My glass are a bit fogged up. I don't know whether that's a plus or a minus in the safety factor, but it is what it is. Plan C is not working, so now I'm going to Plan D, which is grinding them flush with the fiberglass and then punching them through with a hammer and screwdriver. It's working so far, but I obviously can't film that and do it at the same time, so here we go. Bit of one-handed grinding. Oh, so I got the other one here now first. Right, well, I've got the second one off. It was a hell of a lot harder than the first one. I ended up grinding off the bolts on the inside and beating the hell out of them with a hammer and screwdriver, and still barely made a mark on them. It took me at least 3 times as long as the other one, so, but it's off now, that's the main thing. Okay, so that's the 2 of them off. They're not in great condition, but I think they're serviceable. I can repair them. That's going to be a job I'm going to do when the weather gets a bit harsher and it's not really possible to work outside, so that's a job for another time. So this is the rudder that came with the boat, and all the bits there, it's got a a piece of metal piece at the bottom which drops down obviously when you drop the keel, and it's got all the fittings there, but the wood is kind of rotted at the bottom. And another thing I noticed about it is if you're using the boat without the keel dropped, just relying on the moulded keel at the bottom, the stub sticking down there, say if you're in shallow water, you actually have no rudder, because the bottom of the rudder is going to be, you know, pretty much skimming the water. If that's the water line there, then you're only going to end up with that much of the rudder in the water, because you can't drop the rudder down if it's not deep enough to drop the keel, because obviously the rudder will be hitting the bottom. So looking at this, I'm just having the idea that I might just drop the whole bottom of this rudder, make it longer so it comes down further, down to here, which is, I suppose, 8 inches or 200 millimeters. And that way then, even with the rudder in this position here, the lifted position, you'll still have steerage, because it'll be the same depth as the stub keel sitting down there. So if you're using the boat without the keel dropped, maybe in shallower water or to a river where you're using the engine for propulsion, you can still use the rudder to steer. And I think that makes sense, because I'm going to have to remake this because it's all rotten here anyway. So I might as well make it that much longer and have that use that I can steer with, even with the keel up and even with the rudder up. So that's what I'm going to do with the bottom part of it. Now obviously all these connections here are going to have to be remounted, all these fittings. Fittings are sound, they're all stainless steel fittings. And these blocks that are mounted onto the transom here, I'm probably going to replace them with a plastic, a hard plastic, like it's a machining plastic it's called Derlin, and I'm probably going to use that, because then it's not going to deteriorate. Once I put it on, that'll be it. It'll never have to be replaced. Just mount the fittings on and obviously seal them, and that'll be it. Now when it comes to the top here, the angle of the rudder, or the rudder tiller handle here, is very short. Like, it barely clears the back of the transom there. So it means you're going to have an angle. Now obviously this one is rotten and broken here, but you're going to have an extreme angle canted up to steer it anyway comfortably, even sitting down position. So what I'm going to do with this is the same thing. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to take this up about much the same, 7-8 inches, 180, 200 millimeters, and I'm going to actually make it in a shape that's going to be curved in like that, so it'll be actually stronger on the top. So it'll come up, I'll keep it wider and then curve it like that, coming in like this at sort of an angle, and then mount the tiller handle onto that. Now that'll give me an option for different mounting positions, and it'll also make it a lot stronger, because this is kind of a weak point here, having so narrow here at the top. So that's my plan for the rudder. Thing which came with the boat, which is really good, is this outboard bracket. Now obviously this timber mounting transom block is going to have to be replaced because it's kind of rotten, but it's a great, very solid stainless steel mount. Put your outboard on and you just drop it down and clip it into place, and that sticks your outboard in the water. So that's really good. And I'll have to remount that obviously. All these deck fittings and things are all really poorly put on. Like on the inside there's like washers, but there's no backing plates as such. I mean, something like this, it's a heavy piece of equipment. You're going to have an outboard motor mounted on it. It really needs a substantial backing plate on it to mount it. It should be blocked on this side. Same thing, I'm probably going to use a piece of that Derlin heavy duty plastic stuff and put that on the outside, and then on the inside I'm going to make up a stainless steel plate and bolt through the whole lot and make that really substantial, because there'll be a lot of torque on that. When the engine is going on that full tilt, there's going to be a lot of torque on that anchor point there, so I think that's worthwhile. There's a little step on the back of it, that's the ladder is such as it is. I don't know how useful that's going to be, how much use it's going to get. Okay, so I'm taking off the handrails off the cabin top. Same thing, all rusted in, trying to use the vice grips to get these screws out. They're not screwing out, but the vice grips seems to be taking them out, so That's good. Just going to try and get whatever hardware I can moved off the boat now. The rest of the day here. This is the next day, and just trying to get a bit more done. It's very cold here today, 2 degrees Celsius, so it's winter's definitely starting to bite a wee bit. Okay, so that's the screws loosened, and that's one grab rail off. I do the same on the other side. Okay, and that's grab rail number 2. A bit tighter, but just silicone is holding that on. Check underneath. Try a bit of persuasion. That's it. That's the other handrail off. I'm going to have to remake new handrails. These are obviously completely rotten, but they'll do as a template to make up a new one. Might actually make them a little bit stronger. They're very thin. Make them a bit chunkier. Let's see. Yeah, I suspect the barometer mightn't be working. I'm going to leave the liquid filled comforts in place because I think it's not going to be too hard to walk around, and trying to take it out I might damage it. So I'm just going to leave it where it is. See, it's difficult to forecast the weather, but it's pretty simple here in Ireland. Either it just stopped raining or it's going to be raining very soon. That unfortunately brings us to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed watching it, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.